All right, we're here at In-Game Locals. This is Midwest DBS, and we got an Android 13 Trucker Hat deck profile by Charles Hofmann.
Yep, that's me.
Yep. Tell us about the sweet playmat, because you wanted to say something.
Oh yeah. So shout out to Trifinity Custom Mats. John Alonzo is my man. He's the hookup. Every single mat I got is made by him.
And I'm probably gonna get one now too, since
they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All right, so today, like you said, we're going to go over Android 13, right?
Yep.
So Android 13, back in set 3, hasn't had much good support. Recently, they came out with the Stoic Fist card and a couple other cards that help support them. So I've been really trying to make this deck good. I think it's at the best spot it possibly could be. I think it's the most consistent it can be, and it's a little bit different from other people's builds that I've seen online. But you know, it's my deck, and I feel like this is the best way it can get. So if you don't know, permanent. If you have an Android 14 and an Android 15 in your drop area, you can activate this card's Awakening skill when your life is at 6 or less. Or typical Awaken, when you're at 4 life or less, you can draw 2 cards and flip the card over. So when you flip the card over, you know, first auto. So if your opponent's Son Goku or a battle card with energy cost of 6 or less is placed in the drop area from any type of skill, one of your skills specifically, this card gains critical. Everybody knows what crit does. Second auto, when the card attacks, draw a card.
So I know against me, you awaken turn 1 every turn on our 3 games.
Yes.
So how many times did you do that throughout the night?
So 4 rounds. Each round was best of 3. I did it in your 3 games, and I believe I did it in maybe 4 others. I think there was like only 2 or 3 games throughout the night, truthfully, that I didn't awaken turn 1.
Sweet, it's perfect.
If not, turn 2 was like the latest I saw the pieces I need to. And then, you know, as I show, you're going to see the deck list I got and why I run it the way I do.
Yep, let's go ahead.
All right, so first card we're going to go over is Android 13 Brilliant. I run 3 of them. So it's a 3 cost. It doesn't have deflect, which is horrible, because game 1 this man hit me with the draft box for Vegeta at least twice, and then bounced it back with Hercule Boo and prepared it for the next turn, knowing I was going to play it right back. And then I tried, and he hit me with the hit and bounced that and another card back to my hand. So I think I tried for 3 turns to try to play this card. So it's not a great card. It's really not. Doesn't have deflect. Permanent says if you have any other Android 13 on the field, the card can't be played. So pretty much once you have it on the field, it's a dead card, other than energy or a 5k combo.
Yep.
It does have Union Absorb. You can take a 14 and a 15 from your drop area and place it under the card, and then you take an Android 13 from your hand and play it on top of the card, as long as it has to cost 7 or more.
Yep.
Or excuse me, not 7 or more, but exactly 7. So I run 3 of these. The next card I run is the other Android 13. People don't like this card because of the fact that it's a 2 cost 10k. Late game, it's pretty dead. You're not going to have 2 energy just for a 10k dump. You'd rather just, at that point, drop, tap 2 and drop 2 10ks instead of tapping 2 and dropping 1 10k. Positive note about this card: if you don't draw into Android 13 the Brilliant, as mentioned prior, you can tap 2 to play this on turn 2 defensively, and after you combo, goes to the drop area, and then you can play it. Obviously, it doesn't have deflect, so it's going to get counterplayed most likely anyway. But if it doesn't, next turn you tap 1 green, 1 yellow, Union Absorb, exactly the same as Android 13 the Brilliant. You take 114, 115 from the drop area, place it under the card, and then you take a 7 drop.
Go get one of your big nasty boys.
Yep. You place a 7 drop on top of it from your hand, and then you just go into the plays from there. Most important card in this deck, in my opinion, actually in everybody's opinion, because it's the only way the deck works, is Stoic Fist, Android 14. I run 4 of them because if you don't, you're literally just bad at the game. So the activate main on this card says if your leader card is Android 13 and you choose this card from your hand and 1 Android 15 card from your hand, place them in the drop area as a cost. Choose up to 2 life, add them to your hand, draw 1 card, and then you choose one of your opponent's card then your opponent chooses one
a card
card
and discards
it. So what I like about this card,
it's key to you awakening turn 1.
Exactly.
Then if I pick a battle card with that, this is awakened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I gain
then
crit.
Crit.
Good part about this too is that it says up to 2 life.
Yeah.
So if you only have 1 card in hand and I need to go for game and I have this in a 15, I can just discard my 2 cards, make you discard that 1 card. I don't even need to take life.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you go neg 2 cards, you only draw 1 from deck, but at the same time your opponent's losing that 1 card in hand. So it's at that point it's kind of like you kind of go plus, but it's more of like it's like an awkward plus, I guess you could say. So important cards with this is I run 4 of the Vicious Vendetta Android 15s.
Which is also pretty important.
Which is a very important
It's another
card.
way to awaken early.
Yep, it's a 15 for the activate on this ability. Or you can, which I'll show you in a little bit, I have Android 14-15 Troop in here as well. You can always play that turn or activate that turn 1 for a discard draw. And then you can always play this defensively. And then most likely your opponent's going to attack into this and remove it because they don't want an extra attacker on the field. But then doing that allows you to put it in a drop area for a 6 life awaken. You know, because when you combo with this, it goes to the drop area, but then it comes back into play. And then if you want to pay cost, which is either 1 or 2 life, you can untap a green energy. So by doing that, you can literally combo this into play on turn 1 defensively and bring yourself down to 6 immediately if you don't see Stoic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's your other way.
So and then, so say they don't kill it, you can attack with it next turn. You can attack with leader next turn and then just combo it off for an extra 10k. I mean, and then if you combo it with like say Sel Kamea and you rip a battle card, that's a 40k. So yeah, if you combo this and Cell, you'd end up being a 40k crit on turn 2. No one's going to be able to defend that usually, especially with a low card.
Generally not. They better have a negate and
exactly.
energy open.
And then, like I mentioned, you have Android 15 and 14 Troop.
Yep.
So when this card first came out, everybody thought it was going to be busted because it has both in it. But then Bandai clarified and says, no, doesn't work like that. Nice try. You're bad. So activate main. Place a card in the drop area, draw a card if your leader is Android 13.
But it's still necessary in the deck because it checks both boxes.
Exactly.
Even though if it doesn't do it at once.
Exactly. So if
it's
you have
in
an
your drop, it'll be one of them. You see one of the other.
Exactly.
ones.
So if you know you're playing against an aggressive opponent and you don't see any of these cards, but you see 2 of these, you can activate main twice, filter, draw 2 cards, wait for them to take you down to 6 and open, and awaken during their combo area.
So we'll go into the next cards.
So then going into the next cards, I'm sure you might be able to see it on the stream. So this is a very controversial card for this deck. A lot of people don't like this. I personally love it. 1, because it's Baytine and she's amazing.
Yeah, and essentially your hand control deck, and that controls the hand. So
exactly, true. So basically, it's a super combo, has energy exhaust, but you're never going to charge it.
And you're not playing any arrivals, are you?
Nope, absolutely no arrivals.
So you might as well run that. This is probably the logic, right?
Yeah, so I don't run the Giro because I don't run any type of arrival, so there's no point in running the green-yellow super combos. And also the reason why I don't run 16 over this is because 16 requires you to be at 4 life.
Yeah, this is live turn 1.
This is literally a live turn 1. And I can Stoic Fist, Awaken, draw 2, Stoic Fist again, gain crit possibly, swing, and if I draw into all 4 of these, dump all 4. And how many cards did you have in hand turn 1?
Game 3, I forget who went first. Did you go first game 3?
No, I think you did because I was able to swing.
Yes. Basically, I charged energy, went to his turn, he charged energy. At the end of his turn, I ended up having 1 card in hand, and he had 7 or 8.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I
mean,
I burned through, which sucks, but I burned through all my super
so I
combos.
got beat game 3 because I can't climb out of that hole.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's impossible.
So
I tried. Didn't work.
People like Android 16 because it can trigger your leader to gain crit if they discard a battle card with it. Yeah, that's great. I mean, if you want to hit them with crit, but to be honest with you, I'd rather just have no cards. Absolutely. Or I'd rather watch you sit there through turn 2 past, try to draw back into having a decent hand, on top of having the original, the OG 13 on board, and then you have the successor, and then you see the rest of my list as well. So then after that, like I said, Awakening with Stoic is very important. So I run the Terrible Creator Android 20. So this card is 2-drop, no deflect. This is back when set 2, so deflect wasn't a thing yet. Play the card, choose up to 1 battle card that includes Android in its name from the deck, other than this specific
This
card.
is just your generic tutor. Tutor up the Android you need
Yep,
for the time you need.
pretty much.
Yep.
If you don't awaken by turn 2, but you see this guy, you're tapping out turn 2 to
Yeah.
find it so you can
You
awaken.
can find super combos too.
Exactly. You can find anything as long as it has an Android in its name. So super
So far,
combos.
it looks like I've only seen Androids. So far.
Yeah, there's literally nothing but
Okay,
Androids in
it
this deck. So
finds
you
everything
can
but
literally
extra
find, as
cards.
long as it has an Android in its name. I just recently put these in here. This deck currently is listed at 56 cards. I will be playing it at 60 once set 10 drops. I'm going to drop 4 of the Unison Bardocks in here as well for combo Nile and then a triple
card's gonna
attack
be great.
on
Yep.
top of whatever else I'm attacking with. So another tutor, tap 1, play the card, search top 3 for any Android that would be in the character trait, I believe. Yeah, character trait,
Yep.
not the name. So at that point, you can search for the 2-drop if you really need it that bad. You can search your super combos. You can search Stoic, any of the 15s. You can your 3-drops, your 4-drops.
So between that and the 3, you're basically running 7 tutors
Yeah,
to find
exactly.
whatever Android you need.
Exactly. I mean, you can always drop them late game too.
Yeah.
I really like the 9-drop Successor Cell. I main decked it now just so I can run it at 60 cards, but I'm not going to main deck it then. But with the 2-drops in here or the 1-drops, and then you have the 7-drops, it adds up to 9 and it's an easy card and it rips 3 battle cards out of your opponent's field or out of your opponent's hand. So I'm only running 3 of the Android 13s. You have a good amount of hand draw from the Stoics, so and then your leader swings. If you awaken turn 1, you're drawing every turn. You draw 2 for Awakening. So it has a decently high draw power deck. I don't feel like running 4. I think 4 is getting too cluttered. Honestly, 90% of my games I'm seeing 2, if not all 3 of these. So I don't think more than 3 is needed at all.
So I know there's some confusion. So you want to explain what happens if you play both these?
Okay, so
Just so everyone knows.
yeah, so everyone knows because everyone wants to, rule shark people when they're
Yeah.
wrong. So first auto card comes into play. Your opponent, not you, your opponent chooses a card for them to KO. Okay? If they have a barrier card and something else, they have to choose something else
Yep.
because there's an option. If there's only a barrier card, then they can't pop anything, obviously, because it does ignore barrier. Okay. Second auto, which is a completely separate skill. It's 2 skills on 1 card. It's not 1 giant auto, it's 2 skills. When one of your opponent's battle cards is placed in the drop area by any area from one of your skills, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in a drop area.
So what happens if I discard a battle card?
So if this card comes out and I pop a card,
Yep.
right? This auto is going to trigger. The second auto is going to trigger. Forces him to discard another card. But this auto is also already triggered from the KO. So until he discards 2 extra cards in a row, every single time he discards a battle card, it's going to loop itself.
Yep.
And so this one will trigger this one will trigger this one, and so on and so forth. It's exactly like the TOP Bergamos, the 4-drops, the blue ones. If you put them both in rest mode, your opponent physically cannot attack because it loops.
Yep.
Same concept.
Yep.
Discard a battle card for this one will trigger, and discard a battle card for this will trigger. So unless your opponent discards 2 extra cards in a row, you're going to discard your whole entire hand.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up so you could explain it. Because
It's
some people
absolutely
I know how it works too, but
Oh, absolutely. It's
you
absolutely
play
amazing.
the deck, so you,
It's absolutely amazing. I absolutely love that. Doing that is just, it's so upsetting.
Goodbye hand.
Especially when people don't have a lot of extra cards, or they want to pitch them early for like the Stoic so you don't get crit with your leader. So then the next card is the new Big Daddy 13. So it's another double striker. Has energy exhaust. Successor comes out for 1 yellow, 1 green. So as long as you have either mono green, mono yellow, or yellow green cards on the field, that total equals up to 7. You can tap 1 green, 1 yellow, pitch them and sacrifice them from the battle area into the drop area, and then you summon this card. Simple. No on-play auto, but activate main once per turn. If your leader card is an Android 13, you can choose 3 Android cards from your drop area and place them in the bottom of the deck, which is the cost for the activation. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. Then your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and places it into their drop area, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's good.
Obviously, it's hand
Very
destruction, so it's going to be good. But it also, if they discard a card, they trigger Android 13.
The leader.
Yes, the leader. Yep.
And if you
fun
have
fact,
this in play,
if you have this in play, exactly. If you have this in play, they discard 2 cards. Both of them are battle cards. Second auto triggers twice.
Yep.
So now they're discarding 4 cards.
So they can play off each other very nice.
Exactly.
And he's triple strike, and he's double.
Oh
strike.
no, they're both double. They're both
double. Yeah,
Yep.
correct. Yeah.
Or like you can swing with this, give them 2 free cards,
And then drop 'em.
Successor this in, sacrifice this guy to the drop,
Yep.
and then just activate main. Bottom deck the 3 cards that were underneath this, or this card even.
Yeah.
Bottom deck it, and then they rip the 2 cards
Yep,
out.
now you have no cards
So now
in
they're at 2 life with no cards in hand. You just swing for game. So another sleeper card that I absolutely love. No one else seems to like Belmont because he's a clown probably, but I love him.
He definitely is a clown.
So he's a 7-drop, another successor. Same thing with the other 13 that I just mentioned. But he's a successor for 2 green and 1 yellow. He's a dual attack. If you have 5 energy or more, when you play this card, your opponent chooses 3 cards in their hand and places them in the drop area. Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And it's a dual attack 30k. So what's the chances that your opponent's trying to draw into a negate on that last 2 life that you're attacking them with for the 30k to kill them for game? Secondary auto, I've never used this because, either one, I'm winning game with this card, or it's just being charged or comboed out, truthfully. It's never been removed off the field once it gets on because the game usually is done by the time it does. But when this card is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill, I can choose any number of battle cards in the drop area with an energy cost of 2 or less, which totals up to 4 or less, and play them with his skills negated. So, there's really not much to really play. I can play the tutors, the 1 drop and the 2 drop. I can play one other card.
And not that you ever did this play, but I like the fact that it's at 5. Its successor's 3. So if you have the energy to do this, you can do this. Then you have 2 energy to go into this.
Yep.
If you need to. So you can
or vice versa.
Yeah. Or the other way around.
If they're at 6 life and a low hand, you got the OG 13 out. You can successor this big boy out, and then you can be like, all right, well, you're down to 2 life. Activate, rip 2 cards, summon.
So in certain games, there's certain sequencing where these 3 can play very well.
Be played in one. They can. Well, he'll be on the board turn 3, turn 4, but these 2 cards alone can be played on turn 3.
Yep.
It's disgusting.
That's a lot of cards from hand, so seems good.
That's at least 4 cards. Who knows, if you Union absorbed into the successor originally, you activate that main, that's 2 cards. You successor the new one, activate main, that's 2 more cards, and then Belmod's another 3.
Okay, yeah.
So that's ripping 7 cards out of your opponent's hand in 1 turn for 5 energy. Analyza, check land, self-explanatory.
Yep, just needs to check lands.
I brought her down to, or him, whatever it is, down to 3. I had it at 4. I don't think it's needed at 3, truthfully, because 90% of your deck is green. You don't need to see yellow except for your successors. And if you're running Belmod and you're running Android 13 successor, you only need 2 yellows at max.
Okay. Yep.
So I don't feel like this is a really necessity. The reason why I do run these, though, compared to not running and just running yellows and charging yellows, is because, as you'll see later, I do run Cell Kamea. So that you need to have all
green
greens
energy
and no yellows.
Yep.
So very rarely you'll see me charge a yellow, but most of the time when I do that, I already have access and I already seen the other ones. So everybody knows this card because it's absolutely stupidly expensive for no reason.
Reverse ape.
So it's a reverse ape. Activate main, tap 2 green. If your leader card is green, you send this card from your drop area to your warp. Your opponent chooses 2 cards from your hand and discards them. So you could tap 2, have the OG 13 out, and then if they're both battle cards, that triggers the auto for the Android 13 twice, and they got to discard 2 more cards.
Yep.
So if they don't discard and cycle their hand properly, you can tap 2 and rip 4 cards out of their hand if you got the board set up.
Same reation why the ape's good. Same reason why Rebrand's good.
Exactly. I don't think this is needed at 4, honestly, because you have so much hand destruction early game that it's going to be a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
I think 2, maybe 3 games the whole entire night. I played that and tapped that on turn 2 to rip cards out of their hand. So going into the extra cards, I only run 3 Shocking Death Balls. These are actually my only negates in the whole entire
Negate,
deck.
Sparking Negate, and can KO something with 2 or less.
Exactly. You KO something, you triggering the OG 13, and then they got to discard on their own turn after the negate. So to me, that's absolutely broken. I think it's a great card. I mean, you can up it to 4. It's a negate, so you can up it to 4. But my reasoning behind this is because most of the time they're not going to have a hand. So, I mean, what are they? They're going to swing with something. If they do play,
you don't
something,
need as many negates when they can't.
Exactly.
Especially with combo power.
Exactly. That's all my whole thought process behind it. Next card, I absolutely love this card. I love main decking it. The card's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
It hits all the battle card counterplays.
It hits every single counterplay, hits anything 3 costs or less. I mean, obviously, if it has deflect, it won't hit it.
The only one it really doesn't hit is the draft box 4-drop UI Goku. But besides that, it hits. It hits
Yeah.
Vegetas.
Yeah.
It hits everything besides 1. So
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. It's very good.
I mean, even if you go to play something, like say you're at 4 life, right? You go to play the 3-drop on turn 3. You're expecting a counterplay, like I did for you. I expected that counterplay, and then
you're not doing that crap again.
I'm like, I'm playing my 3-drop, and I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Counterplay,
Yep.
Send it to the drop. My 3-drop stands, and I go right into the 7-drop.
Yep.
Absolutely love this card. It's fun. It's watching your opponent just like look at you, with their eyes gawking out, and you're just like,
because it costs 1, or essentially it's free. Especially when you're tapped out, and then they're like, he really doesn't have anything. You can take a life and do it if you're at 4 left.
Exactly. And then if it triggers the OG 13, then it triggers the OG 13.
Yep.
And then that's
they throw a battle,
because it sends it to the drop area.
And if it
so it triggers the auto.
Yep.
So next card, I've not met one person other than myself that loves this card. This card is not the greatest card in the game, but for some reason with this deck and with me, I absolutely love it.
If you can get the double strike and crit off.
Swing on turn 4 with the OG 13. They got a couple cards in hand. Add crit. It's a 40k double strike crit on turn 4.
People have been double strike critting forever. It's never really bad. If it works, it's always going to be to your advantage. So.
Exactly. And then with the OG 13, they're going to discard 2 cards from it, as long as you.
Yeah. If they have to discard more cards on top of it,
because crit will cause the auto to trigger because crit's a skill.
Yep.
So it'll give him crit, give him double strike. If it's 2 battle cards, they got to discard 2 cards for it. And Artificial Impact. Love this card.
Yep, cards are never
Absolutely
dead.
love a card. I decided to main deck 3 of them, mostly because of Invoker and that Vegeta that nobody can really get rid of, to be honest. But there's a lot of cards that are coming out that have barrier that are important. So I want to have the answer to it. Plus, if it's a dead card, it's still a 5k combo.
Yeah, that's saying it's never dead. Yeah,
exactly.
It's still a 5k combo at the end of the day.
Even if people consider it a dead card, it's really not.
Yeah.
And then also, so it's an activate main. If your leader card is green, you can choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, KO it.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Just blow it up.
No cost, nothing. Ignores barrier. Cool, it's dead. Doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't exist. Then choose 1 card in your opponent's hand to discard it. So you get to choose the card. So it's a blind choice. Obviously, they don't reveal it. It doesn't say they reveal it, so they don't reveal it. And then you get to rip a card. So, like I said earlier, all these triggers hit in a drop. If the Android 13 original, the OG is out, that's, if you hit 2 battle cards, well, you're going to hit 1 because you're KOing something. But if you hit a battle card off the pull,
then you're going to get more.
Then you're going to get another one. So that's another 2 cards gone. And then permanent says you can activate you can use the activate battle for free, which is a plus. You choose 1 of your leader cards or battle cards. It gains 5k for the
combo power.
Yeah, for the duration of the battle. And then the last 3.
Cells Kamehameha.
Cells Kamehameha.
One of the better cards in the game, in my opinion.
Absolutely love this card. So activate battle. If your leader card is green, you choose up to 1 of your leader cards or battle cards. It gains 15,000 power. Auto. If all your energy is green. So let me stop right there. So that means that if you have any other color than green as a monocolored card. So if I were to charge Analyza, it's fine. That is fine. If I charge a mono yellow or a mono blue or a mono green,
you turn off the discard
not green,
part.
Excuse me. You turn off the discard part. That physically is just, it pretty much kills the card. So with this deck, you don't want to charge anything yellow unless it's a multicolor, so you can get that green factor.
Your energy has to be either green or it has to be green yellow.
Exactly.
Or it could be a green blue.
Yep, and who knows?
Yeah.
You might share. I mean, you can run this deck. I mean, I wouldn't suggest it, but you can run this deck with blue-green.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying just in case you run into a weird situation where you have to charge your super combo.
Yep.
Which you never really would want to, but if you did, it's fine.
Exactly.
That's still online.
Exactly, and then who knows? You might rip a battle card, give your leader a crit. I don't know how many times I've swung with this dude, and most early game if you drop Android 13 or Android 18s, excuse me, your opponent's going to bottom deck the less important cards. Usually early game it's like negates and stuff like artificial impact, stuff like this. Your opponent's going to keep that important battle card that they need for like that turn 2, turn 3 play or whatever it is, and then you just have a better chance of tapping 1 and pulling that card out to make it a 30k crit for turn 1. Play or turn, whatever turn it is.
So we're gonna wrap it up there. This is Charles, and I want to do this deck especially because I've never have played one turn and had my hand go from a hand to 1 card. Look at my opponent's hand, and it'd be at 9 cards, 8 cards, whatever it was. It was something like that. It was
it's absolutely broken.
It was on turn 1, and that's never happened. First time it's happened, so I thought it was a really interesting deck. I'm going to show you tonight.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for coming down and playing, man.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Everyone,
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Like and subscribe, comment if you'd like. Have a good night.